Guys, it's Helly and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am talking about the books that I'm reading during this lockdown. I am reading a lot of different types of books for men, women, for people who are professionals, for people who are into romance reads, fiction reads, non-fiction reads. So I hope that in today's video, you are going to find some reads for yourself. Now at this point, since home deliveries are restricted in most places, you can access these books on Kindle, or you can access some of them in public domain, or you can access them on Storytel with a free trial, storytel.com/Helly. A great deal of these books are available on Storytel, and this 30-day free trial will give you access to them, and you can listen to as many books as like 1 lakh audiobooks on this platform for just like 300 rupee per month after the trial is over, and you can cancel anytime. But let's get into today's video because I am so excited to talk about these books that I've been reading. The first being The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity and Love. My boys, have you ever thought that girls are complicated and that you'll never understand girls? Guess what? We have felt that way about you too. Now this particular book deals with how you should be approaching men, how you should be loving men, and primarily girls find it extremely hard to love men for one very important reason, that is men are emotionally unavailable most of the times. In the patriarchal construct, men are raised to not embrace their feelings, which is why I think that this book is also important for men to read, because as long as they are not willing to change, nothing in this world can change. We need both men and women to overthrow patriarchy. Patriarchy is not being against men. Patriarchy is a kind of societal structure that we live in now, which affects both men and women in a very, very bad way. Let's think about how many times there has been a guy who wanted to cry but he couldn't because it kind of affected his masculinity, because that's what the society teaches him. And that's why boys are restricted from expressing their emotions. Since men are always suppressing emotions, they undergo a lot more than women do sometimes emotionally. And unless they understand it and work on it, and women also accept and understand it, it's really, really hard to love and understand the opposite gender. I love this book so much because it helped me a lot in understanding how much sacrifices men do for us, how many things there are in this world that we do take for granted just because we have been in a patriarchal construct where we are like, okay, this is the job of my father as well. This book really helped me understand men, what they think, how they think, and why they act the way they do. And if you are a man, you're gonna love this book because it delves into your emotional state like no other. I have recommended this book to a few of my male friends, and all of them said that they loved it, and they kind of felt vulnerable while reading it. So maybe you should give it a read. This book, I read this book on Storytel, and it also has the ebook version on that platform. Like very few books are available as ebooks on Storytel though, but this was. The next book is All About Love by the same writer, Bell Hooks. I am making a video on the things that I've learned from this particular book, but I'll say that if you want to love, if you want to know how to love in a very healthy way, if you want healthy relationships and healthy romantic interests, make sure that you read this book because this is so worth it. It's going to change your views on love, how you perceive it, and how you have enacted out your love so far. So yeah, maybe you should give it a read. Bell Hooks books are so amazing. The next book that I'll recommend is Great Russian Stories. If you want to read Great Russian Stories, just search Anton Chekhov or Ivan Turgenev, and a lot of their short stories are available on the internet for free. I'll also recommend Nikolai Gogol's stories. This is basically a collection of different writers. What I really loved about this book is that it gave me access to a lot of different authors, so the variety was great. I think that when we are reading Russian writers, the thing is there are very few canonized writers that we read of, but there are so many more. For example, Ivan Turgenev is not someone I have heard about as much as I've heard about Anton Chekhov or Tolstoy maybe, but his writings are amazing. Like I'm pretty sure like Ivan Turgenev is one of my favorite Russian writers, but I don't see a lot of people talk about him. It's always Dostoevsky or Chekhov, but you really need to explore. I also read a graphic novel that I did not enjoy that much, which was called Encyclopedia of the Early Earth. People say that it's an amazing graphic novel, and I liked it overall, but it was pretty overrated, to be honest. Like I didn't really vibe with it. But the book that I did vibe with was The Stranger by Albert Camus. The thing is, I am reading a lot of books on existentialism. Existentialism is basically this philosophy that we just exist. Like there's no meaning to life. We just are. I just am. You just are. And the thing is, for people who are always looking for meanings in things, it kind of strikes you hard that nothing really has a meaning. Like this chair, why is this chair colored like this? There's no reason behind it. Why is this color purple? Called color purple? No reason. Why do I exist? No reason. Why is my hair like this? No reason. Why am I so stupid sometimes? I have no idea. Why other people are friends? No idea. Everything is absurd. This is basically the idea of existentialism. The problem is the society always tries to structure you towards something, towards usually by religious things like having a god, thinking that there's a god and God has a plan. But an existentialist believes that there's no god, and at least there's no plan for us. We are just like a handful of pearls just thrown around, and we just exist like that. So the stranger is about this guy called Mersault, whose mother dies. I love the first line of this particular book, and it goes something like, "Mother died today or yesterday. I don't know." His detachment from the whole world is just something on a different level. So the thing is, Mersault's mother is dead, and he's expected to show remorse, sadness, etc. because his mother has died. He does not show any outward signs of being sad, exhausted, or anything. He doesn't cry, and people are judging him very hard for the fact that he's not crying because his mother is dead. The question is, when is it written that you have to cry because your mother has died? Obviously, it's like a very normal emotion, but let's say someone doesn't. Why is that such a problem? Why do we judge that person so hard? Just because the society accepts crying when your mother is dead is normal. If someone is not doing that, that doesn't really have to mean they're abnormal. They're just different. The thing is, Mersault is a different kind of guy. It's something that you explore a lot in this book, and that is why he's a stranger. He is taken to court later, and the lawyer says that a person like him can swallow up the whole society. A person who does not abide by societal rules can destroy the society. The Stranger was so amazing. And there's another book by Albert Camus that you can read right now, which is called The Plague, because we are living in a pandemic right now, and this book also focused on one. So there was this plague in this particular place, and the thing is, it's only because the plague started people realize that they are gonna die. But even otherwise, they are gonna die. Anyone can die anytime. It can be a normal accident, it can be a heart attack, it can be a plague. So why does this plague affect them so much? Just because the plague has started or just because it has ended doesn't mean you're not gonna live or you're not gonna die. You are gonna die. So these books are pretty existential. I won't recommend them if you're feeling upset on a bad day, but I really recommend them if you're feeling very happy and you just don't want to be happy. There are people who love enjoying melancholy, and if you are such a person, please give me a high five, because so am I. I love being melancholy, and I love melancholy books. Moving towards a more jolly book, it's a book called It's All About Small Things that you can read on Storytel if you want to enjoy the small things, the little things in life, because I really think that's all that matters. It's a non-fiction book, and it is going to make you very happy if you happen to read it. I'm pretty sure about that. The next book that I'll recommend is this sinister book called Hidden Bodies. This is the second book in the You series. I have read the first one. I have already watched the season 2, so this is like a rare case when I have already watched the season. The book is a bit different though. It starts off very differently. So make sure that you read this if you wanna, and if you enjoyed You. I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy the book even more. Probably want to read Evil and the Mask by Fuminori Nakamura next on Storytel, because I've always loved reading Fuminori Nakamura books, my favorite being The Gun, which I always recommend. Make sure you read it if you haven't already. But there's another book that I'm going to read, and this book is called Sulla by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison's Beloved was such a brilliant book. I read it when I was in, I think, first or second year, the start of second year. It was like the very first amazing books that I had read, like works of classic literature, I'd say. And after that, I really wanted to read another book by Toni Morrison. Thankfully, my best friend, my cutest friend, to be honest, has let me borrow her book. Thank you so much, Neerajan, if you're watching this. I love you. So I'm going to be reading this book. I've started reading it already, actually. Like, I've read like 5 pages, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish this week. And yeah, I'll tell you if I liked it. I hope that you guys like today's recommendations. I hope that you are making good use of your time at home. If you're in school, make sure that you still stay connected with studies. If you're in college, make sure that you don't study at all. Please enjoy. Just kidding, please study with. If you work, make sure that you're working well. If you are going through a bad time in workplace or in your school, academics, etc., let me know about it. I'll try to help you out. And yeah, make sure you keep reading. The link to a free trial of Storytel will be in the description below. A link to Kindle will be in the description below. Make sure you read. Make sure you keep sharing the reads. If you are reading anything, make sure you always tag me on Instagram at the Helly blog. I love checking out your posts, and I'll be back with another video next week. Till then, bye bye.